Married at First Sight UK's Whitney and Matt defended their relationship on Wednesday's episode as they asked to stay in the experiment as a new couple. After they opted to leave their current partners Duka 31, and Gemma 34, the duo came under fire from their fellow castmates in an explosive commitment ceremony. Their controversial romance came to light during the couple's retreat, during which time Whitney, 31, and Matt, 32, spent their first night together. Discussing the new romance, Whitney said, "Matt and his connection happened like that, 'cause I look at him and I've got butterflies. And that's embarrassing to say. I've got butterflies at my 31-year-old age looking at this man." Matt added, "There has been looks exchanged across the kitchen and I've had to check like a school child with her friend whether I'm seeing what I think I'm seeing," referring to April Banbury, who smiles as she watches on. His wife Gemma then cut in, "We had to witness it unfold. Whether Matt likes to know it or not, there were feelings involved on my side, and you don't just forget that in the few days when you've had an argument." But Whitney defended her potential new beau, "I think every girl has been there when they've held on a little bit longer to something. You know the guy has checked out but you still hold on for a little bit longer. We've all been there." Gemma then discussed how the dinner party unfolded the episode previous, when Matt had confessed to finding Whitney attractive. After learning of the pair's intentions, an emotional Gemma flew into a fiery rage, hitting out at her husband as she accused him of robbing her of the chance to start a family while saying his actions made her feel disgusting. "To have that sprung on me in a group setting made me feel very uncomfortable," Gemma told the experts. "It got to the point where everyone had already heard rumors about it and no one had come to me. I felt disrespected." To top it off, they've shared a bed, not actually giving a st about how that would actually make me feel. Matt responded, "I very specifically did not share a bed with Whitney until everything was made aware." But Gemma argued, "Until you two leave, that's not acceptable." "Not in my opinion." Whitney's husband Duka then cut in to say, "Gemma, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Everything should have been done afterwards when the two couples wrote leave. My guy code is that if you dealt with an ex in the past I would never touch that." Matt chimed in once again, "My feeling was that this relationship was at the point of no return, so when I felt what I have felt I acted upon it." His co-stars were not pleased with the responses he gave to an emotional Gemma, with Zoe Clifton, 30, who has partnered with Jenna Robinson, 32, calling Matt a FGDD under her breath. Zoe then told Matt, "You signed up to a process, you're sat here now waiting to give the thing to say you're going to leave, which means that you understand the rules of this. So you've signed up to it. And by signing up to it, you knew that you couldn't leave until you said leave. By doing that, you know that you're still married until you leave this process. Therefore, you've disrespected Duka, you've disrespected Gemma, and you've disrespected the process." Matt brushed off the comments and tells her he doesn't value her opinion and that he doesn't need to answer anything from her. When asked by expert Charlene Douglas if she felt she has done anything wrong, Whitney says, "No. No, I don't. We're all aware that this has been dead in the water for a long time. I don't not have empathy and understanding." Expert Mel Schilling then asked the looming question of whether to leave or stay. "There's no question there has been a lot of volatility, a lot of pain and anguish. And I hope that with this discussion we have had tonight there has been some insight for you guys. From a formality point of view we need to go to the decision. Duka, Whitney, Gemma and Matt then all vote to leave. Mel continued, "We now have a new, burgeoning relationship, so I want to throw it to the two of you, to hear from you about where to from here." Matt then said, "It would be nice to get the experiment with Whitney and see how that can develop. It'd be absolutely frickin' insane and stupid to not pursue it." Mel added, "So to be clear, the two of you are saying you want to pursue this relationship here inside the experiment?" And the pair agree. The rest of the group were riled up by the suggestion, with them all arguing that it undermined the process and other people's relationships. Whitney added, "Matt and I, we're fresh, we could have the help of the experts and find out whether this is something that we should put our lives and our times and our hearts into. That would be amazing." It came after Whitney and Tattooed Matt spent the night together during a couples retreat getaway despite their respective partners being under the same roof. The infidelity rocked the cast, with Gemma breaking down in tears after the betrayal comes to light in dramatic scenes on the E4 series. Whitney and Duka married in the show's first episode, but their relationship was doomed from the start. Personal assistant Whitney was on the hunt for a massive brick house of a man but described her husband Duka as a shed. She was met by criticism from viewers after she failed to give Duka a chance, even confessing at the altar that she was tempted to run. Whitney said, "I'm hoping when I walk down the aisle I see a massive brick house of a man, has got to be tall, have a thick, luscious beard. I'm not going to settle for anything less than perfect. I wanted a man to tower over me, like massive, like a brick house, compared to a house maybe has like a shed." Wednesday night's episode also saw Adrian Sanderson hinting at more trouble behind the scenes of George and April's relationship during a fiery commitment ceremony last night. The digital designer, 37, who is married to Thomas Hartley, 31, a mental health care assistant, told the group he had something to say for weeks after George Roberts took to the expert's couch expressing his desire to make his relationship with April work. "I don't trust April yet with all of my insecurities, and that's not April's fault," George told the experts. "I guess it's a fear of rejection or humiliation of letting somebody into your life and them disappearing again. But I feel like they're outside factors causing a problem." April added, "A lot of people were calling me fake and our relationship fake. It really hurt." George continued, "Let's put it straight, one particular person has decided to make known and voice his opinion between the group, and I've had enough of it." Paul asked, "Who are you talking about? Just so we know." George frustratingly said Thomas, while Thomas put his hand up with a fake grin and says me, leaving Paul to ask what April's issue was, responding that Thomas was telling everyone else that I was fake and I felt attacked. When asked if he wanted to respond, Thomas shook his head and said, "I've got nothing to say." But Adrian put his hand up to say that he had something to say instead. "You know what, I've actually had something to say for weeks." George immediately piped up and firmly said, "Adrian, who says no, George? We sat and we had this conversation." But George continues to tell him leave it. Adrian said, "When George wasn't in a good spot with April, he wanted my ear. He wanted to listen. I absolutely supported him and I was thanked for that." Again, George cut him off and said, "Well, Adrian, I've got something that I want to fight for." April cuts in and said, guys, am not here for this drama, I want to focus on our relationship," to which Thomas quips, "You're a liar, April." Thomas stormed off after George calls his outburst The Thomas Show, telling the group, "I've got too much stuff going on in my personal life to listen to this liar, I've had enough. You're a liar, your relationship is fake and I've had enough." Once again, Adrian tried to tell the group something but is cut off by George, who gives him a firm look as he interrupts him while saying, "Can I please say this because this is right, hang on, okay, so let me finish." Expert Paul Brunson quickly calls time on that argument, leaving audiences in the dark as to what information Adrian was about to divulge about George. "You can continue to do this, but you are going to respect the forum, and on top of it, if you don't want to, you can leave just like Thomas did." George, a financial advisor from Worcester, has confided in Adrian a few times during the process, and the pair seem to have a strong friendship. On Tuesday's episode, George was in tears as he sat on Adrian's sofa describing how upset he was about April's lies regarding her ex-boyfriend. The ex-beauty queen, 33, and George got into multiple arguments after he found out she lied about her ex-boyfriend Ryan Darville, who she met on ITV reality show The Cabins. George found out she had missed key details in her relationship history with Ryan after he said he Googled her date of birth to find her Wikipedia page detailing their 3-month love affair, but she described it to him as just a fling. Upset with not knowing the ins and outs of her past love life, George and April came to blows, leaving him to confide in Adrian and gain advice on how to deal with the situation.